What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the JuiceBox presented by Lock City. It's Wighty here today. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's having a good week. Today we have episode 157 of the JuiceBox, which is going to be a quick review of yesterday's IEM Cologne results, more so just how the playoffs are set up, as well as best bets for the upcoming quarterfinal matchups taking place on Friday, August the 1st. From there, obviously, we're going to have a pod on Friday once those matches end for Saturday's semifinal matchups, and then Sunday's grand final. But before we get into tomorrow or Friday's matches, just a reminder, you can join our free Discord at discord.gg/LockCity. This gets you access to every cheat sheet every day across all active major sports, access to picks from all 9 of our pro cappers, and tons of other sport-specific and stat-specific data points on a daily basis to help you become a better sports bettor. We drop most of our content on our main Twitter account, which is @_LockCity, but you can also join that free Discord group and get access to everything first. Plus, in Discord, you're getting access to every cheat sheet every day and every projection sheet, whereas on Twitter, we are mixing and matching and dropping just a couple every day, aside from Free Sheet Friday, where we drop everything that we drop for free in Twitter. In the Discord, we are doing daily picks from our capper team, we have daily projections for all active major sports, and of course, we have our Lock City cheat sheets that we're running daily for a ton of different sports and prop markets. On the CS2 side of things, this will get you access to my premium plays and parlays, every CS2 cheat sheet that we drop, and so much more. You can get better results on your sports betting for free by joining the Discord, subscribing to our JuiceBox podcast on both YouTube and Spotify, depending on where you are listening, and turning on post notifications so you know as soon as we drop our picks and you can get your bets in before the lines move too much. You can also follow our JuiceBox account on both Twitter, which is @LCJuiceboxPod, and our main Twitter account, which is @_LockCity. For those of you that like the community aspect of things in real time, again, I do suggest joining our free Discord at discord.gg. Lastly, for all of the odds discussed in today's video, we are going to be using Thunderpick.io, which is one of the top books in the world for esports betting. You can deposit using crypto, credit card, Apple Pay, or Visa Debit, and Thunderpick has lines for all of your favorite esports, including but not limited to CS2, League, Dota, Valorant, Overwatch, COD, Fortnite, Rocket League, and so much more. If you visit tinyurl.com/LCThunder, we have our own short link for this promotion. You will get a 100% deposit match on your first deposit up to $600. This means any amount that you deposit up to $600 will get immediately matched by Thunderpick for you to be able to use for your esports picks. We've been super profitable on CS2, but with the deposit bonus, you can always try your luck on some of your other favorites with that free money to play with. That's tinyurl.com/LCThunder for a 100% deposit bonus on your first deposit up to $600. Alrighty, let's get into what we're looking at for upcoming on Friday, but also a quick review of what happened yesterday. So teams that ended up advancing, obviously Vitality and the Mongols, they met. Vitality won 2-0, so Vitality takes the top seed in Group A. Mongols takes the 2 seed. In the lower bracket final, Furia surprised me, beating G2 2-0. They move on and take the 3 seed in Group A. On the Group B side of things, Spirit beat MOUZ 2-1 in the upper final. My Spirit boys look great. I honestly thought they would lose to MOUZ, but they ended up surprising me, winning in 3 maps. Kudos to Spirit. They take the number 1 seed in Group B. MOUZ, obviously, as the loser of that match, takes the number 2 seed. And then in the lower final, we saw NaVi take down FaZe 2-0 in the rematch. They move on as the number 3 seed. So what we are looking at for our playoffs, as you will remember, only a 6-team playoff here. The quarterfinals are the 2 and 3 seeds from each respective group, and they will meet the semifinalists, which will be the number 1 seeds from each respective group. That is, again, Vitality and Spirit. So the first quarterfinal matchups here are going to take place on Friday, August 1st, obviously. First one at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, which will be the MongolZ and NaVi. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we will see MOUZ take on FURIA. So without further ado, let's get into it. MongolZ and NaVi, first one up, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Public consensus is heavy on NaVi. So NaVi has looked good in this tournament. NaVi, obviously, so they beat FaZe 2-1. They ended up dropping to MOUZ 2-0. After that, they took down NiP, which was I was very happy about that, to see Nip's miracle run come to a bit of an end there. And then they took down FaZe in the rematch 2-0. On the MongolZ side of things, MongolZ did not look great against Vitality yesterday. They did beat Falcons 2-0. They look good in that Falcons matchup. They look good against 3D Max. Their only 2 losses recently have been to Vitality. They had this FaZe one back here 6 weeks ago, but if we're talking in the last 5-6 matches or so, their only losses have been to the top team in the world. On the NaVi side of things, same can be said. Top couple teams in the world. They lost to Spirit here, who I think is now officially like number 4 overall. They lost to MOUZ, and they lost to Vitality, so the 1 and the 2. NaVi, obviously a really great squad here. They've been looking good with MongolZ. He's stepped up. I don't know how he's going to perform on stage. That's the only question mark for me here with NaVi. I don't doubt that he has the potential to step up into this role. We've seen him so far. He's had a light mood. He's been joking. He's been friendly. Comms have been good. In terms of the interviews that we've seen with NaVi, everything seems relatively lighthearted, and everyone's in good spirits. So I don't doubt that he's going to transition well, but obviously there has to be some sort of nerves when you're on the stage for the first time. I know when we're going back, if you're looking back about a year and a half, 2 years ago, when Spirit was on that Katowice stage for the first time, and Zontix and Donk were just cool, calm, and collected, saying no nerves, no nerves, and then they went through and they just won the tournament. I don't think the same thing can be said here for NaVi necessarily. They're in for some very, very tough matchups. First up, obviously MongolZ here, and then if they do get past MongolZ, they have to play Team Spirit. If they do get past Spirit, they presumably have to play Vitality in a grand final. So by far the hardest stretch, I would say, to a grand final out of any of these groups to get there and then to overcome Vitality. I think they're in for a very tough matchup here, firstly on Friday. MongolZ, when they're on stage, they look really good. They've been there a number of times. They've been in a number of grand finals, semifinals, obviously their fair share of quarterfinals to get to that point as well. When we're looking at the map pool, I do think obviously Inferno favors NaVi, but when we're looking down at what's happened recently when these two teams have met on Inferno, MongolZ has won the last 2, and one of those was by a score of 13-1. The other was 13-11. So Inferno, I don't know if that can be said as a sure lock for NaVi. I'm sure they could win that map, but when you're looking at that map, MongolZ has proven twice in the last little while that they are able to beat NaVi on what seems to be the biggest advantage in the map pool. The other one that I think they probably could take, and rather should take, is Train. We haven't seen these two teams match up on Train recently. They've met 4 times this calendar year in 2025, which is great for us to see comps here, but we've never seen them on Train. If I was NaVi, I would just swing for the fences, throw Train out there, because Inferno's going to be pretty sketchy. You know that MongolZ knows your strats by this point on Inferno. Yes, you have MongolZ now, but I would probably throw Train out there and just try your luck on Train. Maybe you get Overpass as a decider. MongolZ wins their map pick. Maybe you can win a Train and an Overpass and sweep your way into a semifinal as a best case scenario. But I do think MongolZ wins this. I think MongolZ, when we're looking at the map pool, if NaVi takes Inferno, MongolZ could win this 2-0. If NaVi doesn't take Inferno, we leave it down to the decider. I think it's going to get interesting. I think we probably see over 2.5 maps here. I think it's going to be a close matchup. But what I'm going to take here in terms of my 2 safe plays for this matchup is going to be MongolZ on the money line. I think they have the advantage in stage experience. I think they have the advantage in the matchup. I think in terms of recent form, they've obviously only lost to Vitality recently. They do have that FaZe loss, which is a little bit of a stain about 6 weeks ago. But when we're talking in this new season, it's only that loss to Vitality, who they didn't look great against, but they looked really good against Falcons. They looked good against 3D Max. I think MongolZ takes down NaVi. I'm going to take them on the money line. I don't think they win 2-0. I think it's probably a 2-1. NaVi probably takes Train, but if they take Inferno, I could see MongolZ winning this 2-0. What we're going to take as our second safe play here is just going to be map 1 over 20.5 rounds. We need both teams to win 8 rounds on the first map. Again, probably going to be NaVi's map pick as the lower seed here. I would imagine, again, Train or Inferno. I think either way, it's going to be pretty close. I don't think we're going to see a 13-1 MongolZ result on Inferno. I think it'll be closer to what we saw last time and around like a 13-11, regardless of which side it flops. And then if it's Train, I think that MongolZ could keep it relatively close on Train. So these are going to be our first two picks for the MongolZ and NaVi game. At the end of the video here, we'll hop into parlays. I'll show you how I combined my picks here at the end. But my two safe plays, feel free to take them, mix them and match them in any which way that you'd like, are going to be MongolZ on the money line, 1.65 on Thunderpick, and MongolZ NaVi map 1 over 20.5 rounds. We need both teams to win 8. That's going to be 1.52 on Thunderpick. We'll move on to the next one, or the last one, whatever you want to call it, which is going to be MOUZ and FURIA. 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. This one, public consensus, all the Brazilians come in here and vote FURIA every single time, regardless of who they play, so you can't really look at that on HLTV. MOUZ comes into this number 2 team in the world. FURIA comes into this number 8 team in the world. MOUZ did drop this to Spirit yesterday, which was a little bit concerning on the MOUZ side of things. Spirit, I mean, Zwei looked okay. Obviously, Donk looked great. Shiro looked great. A lot of the team members stepped up when they needed to, even Chopper. We saw a lot of good performances out of Chopper, even in the clutch, which we do tend to see once we get to this stage in tournaments. His calling has been very, very questionable, but he has had a couple plays in there where it's like, okay, you'd still deserve to be an IGL of a top team on the borderline, but he still deserves to be there with Spirit. Donk, obviously, we saw Donk do Donk things, and MOUZ fell victim to that. I do think this is going to be a different story for MOUZ here in the playoffs. Once MOUZ gets on the stage, they're a completely different beast. Obviously, FURIA has been playing really good. I can't take any credit away from FURIA in this one. FURIA beat G2 2-0. They beat Falcons 2-1. They beat Astralis 2-0. 3 teams that were playing really, really good. They did lose to G2 0-2 here. They beat Astralis. They beat FlyQuest. They lost to Saw, but we're going back too far there. In the last 6, they've won 5 of their last 6. The only loss being that loss to G2, which they then came back and avenged, so you can kind of cancel those two things out. They beat Falcons, they beat Astralis twice, they beat FlyQuest, so they're not beating top teams in the world, but they're beating top 10 teams in the world. Falcons arguably going to develop into a top 5, top 3 team in the world. Maybe they need to shake up Nico and Kicksan there. But otherwise, Falcons are obviously, they have the firepower to win championships and win tournaments coming up in the future, probably even this season. On the MOUZ side of things, they had that loss to Spirit. They did beat NaVi. They beat Liquid. They beat Spirit here. So their only losses recently to Spirit and Vitality, which in the grand scheme of things, very respectable losses. In terms of the map pool, we could say that FURIA has slight advantages on Train and Nuke. When we look at what these teams have done recently, the last time that they met on Train, MOUZ took down FURIA 13-9. FURIA was able to steal an Inferno here, 16-13 in overtime. Prior to that, which is going back all the way to last October, we did see FURIA beat MOUZ in a BO3 at IEM Rio, but MOUZ quickly avenged that with a quick 2-0, 13-3 on Nuke and 13-3 on Mirage. The only time that we saw these teams meet up this year was back in March at ESL Pro League Season 21. Again, we saw MOUZ win that 2-1. They took Train 13-9 and Nuke 13-11, losing Inferno in overtime 16-13 in between. I like what we've seen out of FURIA. I do have to take MOUZ here, though, especially once they get onto stage. I don't know how Molodoy is going to perform on the stage environment. Even Yakindar, he's been playing well, but I don't know how he's going to perform on the stage. I don't question that Kserata, Yuri, and Fallen will be in their element there. Maybe we see one of them underperform, but I'm sure another one will overperform to make up for it. On the MOUZ side of things, I think they're just going to be incredibly consistent. I don't see them getting knocked out here in a quarterfinal. I think they're going to move on, take on Vitality in terms of like an early prediction. I say MOUZ moves on here to the semis, and I think MongolZ moves on here to the semis to take on Spirit, which are going to be 2 banger semifinal matchups. But what we have here all in all in terms of picks for MOUZ and FURIA, is going to be just MOUZ on the money line, 1.38 times your money, and MOUZ and FURIA map 1 over 20.5. I think whatever FURIA takes for their map pick, it's going to end up being close. FURIA's got the firepower, they've got the stage energy, they've got the presence there. I think they're going to put on a performance, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get them past MOUZ here. So we're going to go MOUZ on the money line, 1.38, and MOUZ FURIA map 1 over 20.5 total rounds, 1.55 times your money. The way that I combine these up on Thunderpick is going to be as such. So let me just go into my pending bets. So I just took one from each game and kind of split them up accordingly. So I went the two money lines. I went MongolZ and MOUZ on the money line, 1.65 and 1.38. That brings you to 2.27 times your money. I put 2 units on it. Obviously, with crypto, the prices fluctuate a little bit. I think this is in ETH here, if I remember correctly, when we deposited way back in the day. But yeah, 2 units roughly on MongolZ on the money line and MOUZ on the money line. Pays 2.27 times your money. Going to pay $442. And the other one, also 2 units. We're going to take both map 1s, so NaVi's map pick and FURIA's map pick, presumably, over 20.5 total rounds for each. So we need both teams to win 8 rounds at least in each side in each matchup here. That's going to pay us 2.35 times our money. So 2 units is going to give us 4.68 units or $468. All right, y'all. Super excited for Friday. Hoping to bring y'all some more cash here, and then all weekend long, hope to cash out there. For those of you that aren't in the Discord, it's at the bottom of the screen here. Highly recommend it. I will be posting more plays. We always post live plays when it comes to CS2 as well. Once you get official map picks, there's a bunch of juicy markets that you can target in there. One of my favorite ones on Thunderpick and then on Bet365 is a split first half and map winner. You can get maps in there that are usually pretty CT-sided, like a Dust 2 or like an Overpass. You can pick whatever team starts on CT side to have the lead on halftime, but then lose at the end if the team that you think is going to win is better, but is just going to have a little bit shakier of a T half. So you're hoping for like a 7-5, 8-4 halftime score, and then your team to do what the damage that they are known to do on their CT side. So I like to target things like that. We always throw out those things live. Depending on map picks here, if things sway outside of from what we are expecting, I'll always have some extra plays in the channel as well. So we cashed out on a couple of those yesterday. Again, for those of you that aren't in the Discord, highly recommend it. If you like the content that you've been getting here, show us give us a like here, show us that you've been liking it, and leave a comment. Let me know what you are running for Friday, who you're taking here, who you're feeling for FURIA and MOUZ, if you're a FURIA fan, if you're a MOUZ fan, or if you like neither of the teams. And then same thing on the NaVi and MongolZ side of things, who you think is going to take that matchup and who you would like to see here in our semifinal matchups. I think we are in for a banger of a rest of a tournament. Tons of money on stake here, $1.25 million prize pool, I think. So excited to get into it Friday. See y'all then in the Discord. Thank y'all for listening. Take care. Peace.